Worshippers of Cthulhu is basically a city builder and colony sim with a very dark Lovecraftian theme. Yes, it does play a lot like Anno, but it offers a rather unique setting for this genre and a pretty gorgeous atmosphere that is mostly on spot, plus a ritual feature that fans of the setting and Cthulhu in particular are going to enjoy. After a quick introduction, you start off on this gloomy, perpetually rainy island, where you are basically trying to build a cult settlement. You start this in good old Anno fashion by gathering basic resources and then setting up housing for your followers and start producing food. These consist of mainly corn and clams in the early game. Fulfilling your followers' needs is a thing too, and meeting these needs increases their productivity and generates faith, which is like a currency used to unlock new buildings and abilities. Then there is what makes this game stand out, which are the rituals. These rituals are like sacrifices you have to make in order to get a special resource called Eldritch favor. This is used in the tech tree, also to unlock new types of buildings, and there are lots of them. These rituals are pretty dark, which is probably why the game has the 18 rating. The game does have, I have to say unfortunately, a grid-based building system. This is pretty subjective, but ever since trying Manor Lords that has completely gridless building, it is a bit hard to go back to this, but it is of course still the go-to choice for many of these indie games. Still, the building system is interesting. Workers have to be assigned to the buildings individually, which adds a bit more micromanagement. There are decisions as well, like in Frostpunk 2, but not as detailed or intricate. Occasionally you will have to decide and get some rewards for that. I did, however, not really witness any significant impact or changes on gameplay, aside from these immediate rewards, but I'm not ruling out that this could come sometime later in the story. The user interface is generally clear and relatively easy to understand, but I could see players new to this genre getting overwhelmed at first, as the game wants you to progress immediately, without explaining the user interface first. The city itself looks pretty lively, which in my opinion is a cool contrast to the otherwise very grim and dark atmosphere. The NPCs don't have many animations though, mostly it's just walking around, but it gets the job done, at least when zoomed out. What also gets the job done is the subtle but grim background music. According to developers, the early access version will not have a sandbox mode right away, but it will be implemented with a future update. The demo ends just as things get interesting, with summoning and potentially expanding to new islands, but it gives a pretty good taste of the basic gameplay loop and also hints at more complex systems that are to come in the full game. And that sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.